we want to do a quick update with our good friend Hunter Dunn, who is the press lead for the Southern California 5051 organization. Hunter, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Did you graduate from Pepperdine?
Yes, I did.
Congratulations.
Didn't find out what I was doing until after I got the degree.
All right.
So we wanted to talk to you, obviously, because you have a big, big event coming up, the No Kings March, which is national.
Hey, listen, I got to say, I just got back from Washington, D.C., which, of course, is preparing for its own bizarre, weird, surrealistic horror with the military parade. And as I was getting off the plane, I said, well, I'm coming back to partly cloudy weather with a chance of tear gas.
More than a chance.
I got gassed.
You did?
Were you involved in anything that happened last weekend?
Yes. So on Friday, which was the first day, there was 44 people detained by ICE without warrants. And during the first wave of protests, David Huerta, a union labor leader, specifically the president of CIU USWW, great guy, was not just unlawfully arrested for his for exercising his First Amendment right, not even necessarily to protest, but just to be there and make sure the protests were going safely and to observe ICE activity. But he was pushed to the ground and pretty badly injured.
Oh, God.
I saw the clip. They pushed him down. His head, I don't know if his head hit the curb or his shoulders hit the curb, but that was an injury.
That was so far beyond the pale. Because of that, there were much larger protests that happened that day, and I was there helping SEIU and Churla and other organizations that were protesting his unlawful arrest and, of course, the ICE raids.
Yeah.
And when I finished that, I went by one of the other protests to check in on them, helped pass out some food and water, was talking to the National Lawyers Guild when so much tear gas was deployed that even though I was 100 feet away, I still got tear gassed.
Wow.
That was not a fun day. That was not, it thankfully wasn't too bad. It only got into one of my eyes, not both, but I do not recommend.
Trump posted, "We made a great decision in sending the National Guard to deal with the violent, instigated riots in California. If we had not done so, Los Angeles would have been completely obliterated.
Oh, yes.
The very incompetent Governor Gavin Newsom and Mayor Karen Bass should be saying, all caps, 'Thank you, President Trump. You are so wonderful. We would be nothing without you, sir.' Instead, they know we will always do what is needed to keep our citizens safe so we can together make America great again."
Yeah, put him in uniform.
It's not even funny anymore.
I think you guys maybe given the Trump administration a bit too much credit with their plan here. Clearly, it's not going very well. And my suspicion is that this was planned pretty hastily. One of the reasons, of course, is they want to, they want to boost Trump's popular support one way or another. And if they can't manufacture a war in another country, they'll just try to manufacture a war here. But let's be real, part of this is happening because Stephen Miller's insecure about his wife after she left him for Elon. Stephen's the main guy involved in all this, right? He's the red camp of the Saints. He's the one pushing the white genocide conspiracy theory. He's the one who's pushing for the fascist mass deportation plan. The National Guard doesn't even have beds. They're sleeping in their back.
They made no accommodation for these people who are local people who are in the Guard.
They didn't even have a plan. So how much of this is them trying to be more fascist and how much of this is literally just
theater?
A measuring contest with Elon.
Thousands of tanks have been shipped to the nation's capital for the Army's 250th birthday celebration, which the Army was supportive of until they realized he was using it for his imagery of becoming a military dictator in a police state. And now, National Guard troops from the Army's 79th Infantry Brigade combat team, supplemented by active duty Marines. He actually sent in Marines who are not trained to deal anything domestically, and they've been deployed to the streets of Los Angeles, which is calm. This is getting to a critical mass for what you're doing, Hunter, in terms of peaceful protest here in downtown L.A.
In Los Angeles, some of our volunteers were at church this Sunday, and ICE came in and kidnapped people there.
No.
Wow. As part of the organization of what should be a very large march on Saturday, what can you say to people who may be listening who are intimidated and concerned that they don't want to get into what could be a provoked violent confrontation with Marines?
Yeah. Well, on April 5th, which was our largest protest to date, right? Hands off, 5.2 million people nationwide, about 70,000 people in LA. Some people were reporting as high as 100,000. We were prepared for the Insurrection Act to be activated mid-protest. We had the plans in place to make sure that the protesters would be as safe as possible no matter what the government or an agitator would try to throw at us. When it comes to our event on the 14th in Los Angeles, we are bringing out our old playbook and we are escalating it a few notches to make sure that's extra safe. We're bringing in security and medical teams, not even just in LA, not even just from some groups we work with, but with more groups and having more volunteers than we've ever had before to make sure we can make this as safe as possible. The reason is because protesting is safer in numbers. If you're
That's
one
right.
person standing up against the government, you're going to get crushed.
Yep.
If an entire community comes up together, stands up together in solidarity against a fascist administration, there's not a government in the world that can stop them.
Right. If 1 million people just surrounded the White House, what could they do?
They could not do very much, especially not if the 1 million people don't give them a reason to react violently.
That's exactly right.
They are attacking journalists.
Yep, rubber bullet fired directly at an Australian journalist on the front lines.
Yep.
And the Australian Prime Minister spoke out about that as well, saying it was unacceptable.
Well, at least they weren't hit down under.
The press freedom group Reporters Without Borders, known as RSF, said that it has verified at least 27 recorded incidents of violence against journalists since June 6 with the help of a local partner, the LA Press Club. 24 of those incidents were carried out by law enforcement and 3 were carried out by individual protesters, according to the statement. That sounds like you're making every preparation you can. And I was at your last march, and it was not only peaceful, but it was joyous. It was really a lovely experience. It felt good to be there, and everybody was in a great mood and very kind and accommodating. It was wonderful. But these guys are out for a showdown. If that should happen, what do you do in your situation with that march?
Well, obviously, I don't want to give out our exact plan, because if we do, maybe someone hears it and they can adjust. But we do have plans in place for that. We've had plans in place for everything up to and including a false flag since 4/5. We know the risks, and if something happens, the people that are going to be on the front line, the people who are going to be put in danger, it's me and it's the other organizers. It's not the general populace. The situation we're at right now is this is a battle, not a physical battle, but a battle over hearts and minds and in the courts and the media for our rights. And the most dangerous thing that can happen to us is us losing those rights, losing those protections. There still is some, not in LA right now, let's be clear, there's violence that's happening that is being almost exclusively started by the government, right?
Right.
Yes.
You have LASD, when you have other law enforcement, when you have the federal government with ICE kidnapping people, attacking them in the streets, attacking journalists, calling things an illegal invasion, and then committing what would be considered war crimes if this was an actual war, which it's not. That is a problem. And this isn't going to end until every person who took part in those unlawful orders, who ordered them, is prosecuted under the law to the highest extent. And that requires removing Trump from office and punishing every single person involved in this so that nothing like this ever happens again in this country. We've seen this happen in other countries. We've been in worse situations as the United States. We did have a literal civil war 150 some years ago. We're not there yet, but we're in a pretty bad situation right now. And the way to stop it from getting worse is rising up and standing up together right now and pressuring the government into falling back. This doesn't end in, ICE just shouldn't exist. That's where I'm at now.
Right.
We have Border Patrol. That is a Customs and Border Patrol is a separate organization that has existed for much longer than I've been alive, where ICE is younger than I am, I'm pretty sure, because it kind of showed up during the War on Terror, which was when I was born. This doesn't need to be happening this way.
No, but there's a profit motive too, because Geo Group and these private incarceration companies are crowing that they're making more money than ever. ICE, which has requested $45 billion over the next 2 years to build and house kidnap victims. Their whole budget is only $9 billion, and traditionally only a third of that goes to that process. So they want to up that sixfold. It's a business.
I mean, they're in the business of building concentration camps. That's what that business is. Those businesses, if they want to keep going down that road, they can, but they have to know that the moment that this government falls and it's replaced by something that's anti-Trump and anti-fascist, those businesses probably won't exist anymore. El Salvador is trying to send people back because they're trying to realize that if they keep doing this and when the Trump administration falls, because the guy's old, the guy's going to die, and they can't keep it up much longer after his death. They don't have anyone nearly as charismatic. You think Ron DeSantis or Vivek Ramaswamy?
Where should people meet? What's going to happen on Saturday? What they should expect?
Yes. Okay. So there's going to be 1,800 events nationwide. Focusing in on Los Angeles, we're asking the people, as long as downtown LA isn't entirely shut down, in which case we'll send out new information, assemble at 9:30 a.m. by City Hall at Gloria Molina Grand Park and bring some sort of flag, something that represents you or your community or the people who live there in LA. There's going to be American flags, there's going to be pride flags, Palestine, Ukraine, social justice causes, all sorts of flags representing Los Angeles as it is and as it should be, not as Trump wants to represent it as.
Right.
Meet there at 9:30. We're going to have a short rally, less than an hour long, and then we're going to march. And we're all going to march together. We're going to do it peacefully, and the entire world is going to see that Los Angeles is stronger than the fascist government. Thank you.
All right. Hunter,
All right.
You're a brave man. Good luck, and thank you for doing what you're doing, and keep it up. We need it.
God bless you.
Take care.
Great talking to you guys.
Yeah. Bye, Hunter.
Now, this is happening tomorrow?
No, this is Saturday the 14th.
Saturday.
Yeah.
No King Day.
No King Day. You're listening to the Phil and Ted Sexy Boomer Show. Phil, see ya.
See you.